Cool, thanks very much, Charlie.
Awesome.
I'm going to open it up to you guys now. So put your hand up. We'll have to, before you speak, we've just got to get the microphone over to you. So you look really keen. So we'll go for you to begin with. Go for it.
Hi.
Hello.
What's your name?
I'm Shanann.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I've actually met you 10 years ago, but
Cool.
very long ago.
Nice to see you again.
Right. I just want to know, is there any times where you're playing a gig, you get like a sudden burst of inspiration and you find yourself changing a song lyric or anything like that?
No, sometimes I find myself forgetting the song lyrics. But no, I don't. Sometimes you get a bit of inspiration to change melodies. So sometimes I'll change the melody to what it is on the record, but there is a limit because there's some bands I go and see will change the melody so much that it doesn't sound like the same song anymore. That really annoys me. I went to see Counting Crows and they did that, and I love the Counting Crows, but he kept singing different melodies. I was like, you're just changing the song, man. So yeah, a little bit of change is good, but not too much.
Oh, thank you.
The floral lady right here. There's another microphone. There you go.
Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
Rima.
Hi, Rima.
Hi. So I've been a massive fan for years, and
Excellent.
my favourite track is 10 More Days.
Excellent.
And I was wondering whether there's a backstory behind the lyrics or what inspired
Yes, basically, it's about having comfort in a relationship, knowing that if anything else breaks down in your life, you have each other, and that's the most important thing. Because when I'm married now, and when you're in a relationship that's that committed, you feel like you are a team, and if something bad is happening for one of the couple, you've got to be there for that person. You've got to think that no matter what happens, as bad as it could possibly get in your life, if you always have each other, then that's all that really matters, and that's what the song's about.
Anybody else?
Got one over here.
Oh, we'll go to you next. All right. Go
Hi there, mate. What's your name?
My name's Luke.
Hi, Luke.
I was just wondering, do you have any advice for musicians who want to get in the independent music industry?
Yes, I would say make the most of social media. It's a huge thing, and when I got into the music industry, I remember being at school and thinking, how do I go and play gigs and get in front of music industry people? The fact is that most of the music industry is now looking at YouTube, they're looking at Facebook, and these are things that you don't need even a manager for. So I would say, record music in your bedroom. You can do it on these computers that are in this shop. And then, put demos up on Facebook, put them up on Twitter and all that stuff. And it's just about growing it organically, man. You can literally get to a point where you could probably sell out 1,000 capacity venue without even needing a manager, just because of the tools you have at your disposal. And that's amazing, because I never had that when I was growing up. So I'd literally make the most of that.
Just the check shirt guy over there.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, mate, what's your name?
Stuart.
Hi, Stuart.
I was always just wondering, my sister, when I was a teenager, was a massive Busted fan.
Yeah.
And I was one of these grabby little teenagers that kind of sort of wrote Busted off as, pop act and things like that.
Yeah.
When I heard Fightstar were coming out,
Yeah.
I always thought, oh, the guy from Busted's doing a rock band. But then
Yeah.
I listened to Grand Unification, and it just completely changed me, my opinion, and all that sort of thing. I was just wondering if that sort of backlash kind of thing, from like rock fans ever manifested itself to you, and if it was an inspiration, or if it ever...
It was very difficult, because it did a lot. A lot of people just said, this is the guy from Busted trying to do a rock band, and that hurt me a lot, because Fightstar was sort of more of my musical makeup, than Busted was. So, we had a difficulty at festivals and stuff, people giving us shit, and I think what turned it around was that people, like, you remember Paul Brannigan, who was the editor of Krang magazine, came out just before Grand Unification came out, and he said, this is one of the best rock records I've heard in the last 10 years. And to have people in that position saying that, I think that was what really drove it home for us. But I like to think that people just make decisions based on music. Like you said, preconceptions can go sort of only so much of the way, and then when you sit down and listen to music, I hope that the music will always speak for itself. So I kind of knew in the back of my mind, if people are going to like Fightstar, they're going to like it regardless of what preconception they have.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, mate, how you doing?
I'm alright. One of the biggest Fightstar songs I've listened to is Mono. I was just wondering what the story is behind it.
Mono we basically, it's named. Have you heard of the Japanese post-rock band called Mono? So I went to see them at the ICA with the other Fightstar guys, and I kind of knew about post-rock music, stuff like Mogwai and Godspeed and stuff, but I hadn't really experienced it live. And when I saw them play, they just floored me. I mean, actually, that's one of the best musical experiences I've ever had in my life. I literally went home that night and wrote a song, and I was like, I'm calling this song Mono in homage to this band. If you haven't checked them out, please go and check them out. It's life-changing music.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, mate. What's your name?
Connor.
Hi, Connor.
If, or should I say when, Fightstar get back together, how heavy will it be, if heavy at all?
It's a good question. I can't give you an answer to that. I just don't know. Dan actually asked me the same question last week. I don't know. Until I get a guitar in my hand, I have no idea. I mean, I think that it'll be... Don't know.
Let's hope it's heavy.
Okay, nice.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi there, what's your name?
Rosie.
Hi, Rosie.
Hi. I was just wondering, what's your favourite song that you've ever written and why?
Favourite song I've ever written? That's really tough. I think that Long Road Home, the first track off this new record, and Emily are two of my favourites from this record. So currently they're my favourites, but I think the Fightstar track called Chemical Blood that I love, and yeah, it's tough. You know, you kind of goes in phases of liking different stuff at different times. But yeah, at the moment, definitely Long Road Home.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, mate. What's your name?
Adam.
Hi, Adam.
I was wondering if you have any favourite records at the moment?
Yeah. Favourite records? Yes, I've been listening to a lot of London Grammar record. I think it's very good. In the last 5 years, the two records that I've got attached to the most are Phoenix, Wolfgang Amadeus, I love. Bon Iver's first record, I absolutely love. And I've been getting into some old stuff. I came across Creedence Clearwater Revival, and I've been listening to their greatest hits a lot. They're an old band, but it's an amazing record. So, yeah, I mean, just trying to think of any records coming up that I'm excited about. I always get excited when Deftones release new records, so their next new record will probably be my favourite. Hi there, what's your name?
Siobhan.
Hi, Siobhan.
I was just wondering, obviously you're only 16 when you were in Busted.
Yeah.
Did that make you more certain of what you wanted to do in terms of music? Like, was it rather than this, I'd more prefer to do my own thing, or?
I think that I was just so young at the time that I wasn't really thinking about what I actually wanted to do long term. You know, at 16 you're so young, you don't really know what you want anyway. But I think the pressure of being in a band that big at that age, you know, that was sort of difficult to deal with, and it sort of made me think, is this really what I want to be doing, quite early on. You know, I had a great time doing it, but it became apparent very quickly that, you know, it wasn't what I wanted to do long term.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi there, what's your name?
Farah.
Hi, Farah.
I was just wondering, what track was the hardest for you to write on the Long Road Home?
Hardest to write. I would say the track 40 Thieves was difficult because it went through many different stages. It started off as an acoustic song, then it went to a piano song, and then it ended up being sort of a mix of the two. But that took a long time to write. So I always think the hardest song to write is usually the longest. Like a track like Down, 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 I literally wrote in 20 minutes. So if a song, it doesn't mean the song will be any worse if it takes longer to write. I just find that's, you know, if it takes a long time, then I see it in my head as being harder. Hello, mate.
Hiya.
How you doing?
I just wondered, I know you're both your brothers. Have you got two brothers? Or
Yes.
What? Yep. And they're both in bands.
They are,
I
yeah.
saw you at Electric Ballroom with them.
Yes.
Was there any kind of envy or sibling rivalry when you kind of got all the mainstream success and they didn't, or?
Have to ask them. I mean, I don't think so. You know, my two brothers were my two best men at my wedding. You know, they are my best friends in the whole world. And, you know, they're my brothers, so they're always going to be supportive of me. And I have always tried to, you know, do as much as I can for them as well. So I don't think sibling rivalry there ever was, really. But we're actually going to be doing a band in the future, hopefully. We started writing some songs together. So hopefully we'll get to do something together at some point.
That's unfortunately all we've got time for. Hope you guys have asked what you've wanted to ask.
Thank you very much, guys. Lovely to see you.
Yeah, and Charlie, thanks very much.
Thank you, mate.
It's been a pleasure.